I can start. Um, so I want to dish praise to the folks who stay here after the orientation call. I want to dish praise to Marina, to Makisi, and to Gon for staying here today after the orientation call. Thank you so much for joining the orientation call and to be part of our conversation. I want to dish praise to Nate and Costa for covering the past week's the orientation call. I want to dish praise to Gideon for providing feedback to the document that I'm currently working on, and I want to dish praise Tam for the same reason. I want to dish praise to Acid Laser for the help with the graphic and the TE flower. And finally, I want to dish praise to John V, who is someone who joined the Trusted Seed on Paris, and he's someone who seemed very eager to learn about token engineering, and I hope he receives this praise and gets more excited about it. So now I will pass it on to Septi.
Oh, thank you. I was not prepared. Oh, sorry, the timer. Yeah, I wanted to express to Gideon, Living, Nate, Juanca for participating in the burnout exercise. That was super fun and very insightful. I was not very prepared, and having these people in the room make it so easy to have a great call. I want to express to Marco for helping and taking leadership on the Aragon and General Magic relations. I was a bit burned out there, and then Marco was like, yeah, giving me the right tips to get it, better next time, and it was amazing, very high vibes. I want to praise to Rec for the incredible work on the master sheet and all the fun jobs we do on DMs. And last, I want to praise to Bear for all the recordings, and also want to praise to Juanca and Bianca for all the work on the proposals for Gravity. And Mitch, I want to praise to Mitch for all the facilitators and the call we had on the. It's time. But the call we had on the rewards. I'll pass it to Ask Laser.
Thank you, Septi. I would like to praise Angie Berry, Ephra, NT, John Jonas, Alan TV, Miguel V for all their help in these past weeks in communication working group. It has been awesome their work, guys. Thank you so much. I'd like to praise Septi for his great leading in transparency and always keeping updated the Google Sheets and the payments and everything he knows. Nate, because he was a great host these past weeks in the orientation call, and Juanca for the great leading in the graviton training. It's amazing how great you did it, guys. And I'll pass it to Juanca.
Thank you, Acid. Yeah, I would like to praise Septi because of his constancy, and he's been contributing a lot in multiple working groups in transparency and gravity a lot. And his role as a steward is really amazing. And also, it's cool that you're going to take vacation. I also want to praise Nate because his stewarding lately has been really like giving us a direction and a really constructive feedback to continue analyzing ourselves. Levy also because she's doing so many things at the same time, but what she does and her impact is amazing. Gideon also. And yeah, I am gonna take some seconds. Like Durgadas, Bianca, Anna, Irene, Ashley, Benz, Patty, Angie, and Angela and Solcista for the TEA birthday. It was yesterday. And yeah, I will pass it to Gideon. You
go. Thanks, Juan. So praise Richa for helping to pioneer the idea of an initial working group offering in Sampo, and by donating her time to develop the content plan for the TEC token holder channel. Irem for her general enthusiasm and digging into Sampo and helping to think through our onboarding and other processes. Bear, just for regularly going above and beyond the contours of his specific role as an organizer in Sampo. all the time. Rex for his excellent work on the accounting spreadsheet that he did in transparency. It's awesome. Zeptimus for organizing a really insightful exercise today in the Stewards calls for helping us to stay healthy and energized. Kojak for exploring some really cool ideas around soulbound tokens and how they might be useful for the economy. And finally, Christopher for supporting Sampo and experimenting with dishing praise in the Sampo Discord channel. Okay, I will pass it to Irini.
Okay, hi. I want to praise Juanca, Lynn, and Jeremy, and everybody that was teaching in the conflict management training. And they did an amazing job. I want to praise Pat that was in the birthday yesterday. I want to praise Edu because he's an amazing onboarding and he builds a beautiful culture. And I'll pass it to Mitch.
Thanks. I'd like to praise Zepti, Christopher, Livia, and Matteo yesterday for a great discussion on a lot of topics in the rewards working group. Griff, Livia, Lauren, Angela, Tamara, and probably many others for repping the T, TEC, and TA at ECC. Matteo and Nuggan for collaborating and putting together the Frankenstein script to help us get our source cred rewards out. Livia for shilling the reward system in all of her talks, virtual and in person. And Mert for PMing the proposal inverter. And who we got left here? I'll pass it to Richa.
I'd like to praise Zepti, Gideon, and Rex for answering a bunch of onboarding questions for me. And I'd like to praise Costa for taking the notes for this call. I guess I'd like to pass it to, has that said laser gone?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes.
I joined a bit late, so I'm not sure who.
Okay, we can pass it over to Mac Easy.
Oh, cool. Passing it to Makizi.
Okay, thank you for having me here. I like my praise go to Edu for the onboarding call, and I also want to praise Eti too for answering a bunch of my questions. So that's it. Thank you.
Would you like to pass it, Mac Easy?
So I'll pass it. I would like to pass it to Marina C. We attended the call together, so Marina.
Yes, thank you. I praise Edu for his brilliant onboarding. Thank you a lot. And I can praise only everybody in advance because I don't know anybody, but I'm sure you are like really cool community. And I look forward to be engaged somehow. Should I pass to somebody?
I think we have Zepti left.
Zeptimus.
Oh no, I already went, but I'll pass it to
Guess I'm the last one.
Nate.
All right. So yeah, I'm going to praise Gideon for all the work he's been doing in Sampo, which is really amazing. I want to praise Zepti for this previous Stewards Council exercise that we did. I want to praise Gideon, Livia, Wonka for participating in that. I think it was really, really insightful. I want to praise Angie, Pat, and Angela for all the work they've been doing in TE fundamentals this past week. And I want to praise Acid Laser for all the work he's been doing in stepping up in comms. And so thank you for that. And Livia just joined, so I'll pass. You were the last one, Livia, if you want to do some praise real quick. I'll put you on the spot.
Does it taste funny? Oh, thank you. Hold on. I have them all written in the chat. So I want to praise Zeptivus for hosting such an important and fun exercise on burnouts today. We had great insights for how we could make the TC better based on it. And I praise Gideon, Nate, and Juanca for their participation in that exercise. And I felt very seen and contemplated by your sharings. And I want to praise Angela and Patty for organizing the birthday party for the T Academy. They bring light, educational, and celebratory vibes to the token engineering community. Praise Octopus for sharing his art publicly. It gives such an important dimension to the technical work he does and inspires me to be more creative. Praise Gideon for his passion and commitment with Sampo and the TEC. Gideon, you're really giving me so much strength for the work that has to be done. And I'll pass back to who's leading this call today? Gideon? Nate?
Yeah. So cool. Thank you for that. And so that is our praise. So now we go through a session where we turn on our video, say cheese, while read our mission. So our mission is to enable the creation of ethical, safe, resilient, and diverse economic systems to benefit societies around the world. And so we want to keep that in mind as we continue to build this community. So thank you, everybody. In order to make this community strong and lovey-dovey, we want to keep that praise going, but we also want to make sure that we identify different conflicts that happen. And so if you get a chance to, if you see a problem, and if you see somebody getting somebody's name wrong, if you see tensions happening between members of your working group, we do have this Gravity conflict page. So if you fill out this type form, our Gravity working group will get started on trying to mitigate that issue as soon as possible. And so don't be afraid to use this. I think a lot of people are kind of shy when they use this, but if you see even the smallest problem, go for it. It gives the Gravity team some practice and allows us to keep this community as strong as possible. With that being said, let's go on to advice process. So decisions happen after advice process. This is a really big thing that we want to keep in mind within our community. Before making any big decisions, discuss them with people who are going to be affected and experts on the topic. Identifying these people may be difficult sometimes, but we do have communication channels that will help you facilitate that with our forum, within our Discord, within our working groups. And so make sure that you're following the advice process when making any type of decision so we can avoid any type of conflict and or mistakes that are going to happen within this organization. So we have our gardens up. Let's check out exactly what we're voting on this week. If there's anything left up, I think we have our ABC Advanced page. I don't know if that has passed yet or not. We have our comms team DAO support for team, and then the updater of our tributes. So these are our tributes. If you got to vote, if you have tokens, put them in there. If you don't want to support any of these, you can always set them in abstain. So those are the community proposals that are up for right now. Let's see here. So rock the vote. Yep. And community stewards. So I will pass this to me because I will be covering the community stewards this week. Community stewards, we have a weekly sync on Wednesday, 1 p.m. EST, 7 p.m. CET. We are on Sprint 39. As you know, we have changed our community call for every 2 weeks now, so this is our bi-weekly. And if you visit our ZenHub board, this is a list of all of our issues currently in progress. If you're interested in following what's going on in the community or want to join or contribute to a particular issue, this is where you would go first. Try to look at and see what things are trying to be done. Contact the person who is in charge of that particular issue and see how you can help. At the Stewards Working Group, we have several calls. We have our sprint planning every other Friday and our sprint retrospective every other Thursday. These two will happen next week. Our Stewards Council is every other Thursday. This happened this morning, and today we talked about burnout and what elements contribute to burnout. So that has been on our mind at the Stewards Council this week. So we had a really good exercise where we got to draw exactly the emotions we feel when we feel burnt out, or what things that contribute to burnout. And we had a vast, really interesting drawings that we interpreted. So it was really cool exercise, and we've found some elements that we can work on within the community to do that. Also on our minds this week during our Stewards Weekly is developing the TEC roadmap. This is kind of the bigger picture roadmap of where we're heading. Each individual working group will start developing their own roadmap, and we'll try to fit that into a larger narrative for the TEC. And then we also have Communitas Transition Edu. We Edu is kind of stepping away for a little bit. I mean, he's going to be around, but he's going to be training a new leadership for Communitas as we transition into a new form of Stewards organization. As always, public service announcement, Twitter retweets are love. We had a great representation in ETH Barcelona at ECC. And so thank you to everybody who represented us in that realm. With that, I will pass it over to Gravity. Wonka, if you want to take over.
Thanks, Nate. Yeah, I was updating my slide. We finished the third Graviton training. So, yeah, amazing. We have had 3 10-session courses in over 2 years. Training, I think right now the list of Gravitons will be over 80 people who have at least some basic skills to manage conflict in their everyday participation in DAOs. So we have a lot of calls during the week, but and you are very invited to participate in all of them. On Mondays we have a research on psychology and well-being. We will be applying a survey soon, so I would really appreciate if all of you participate in filling that survey about mental health. Also on Tuesdays we will have a Graviton get together that is still to be announced, along with the list of Gravitons of this third cohort. That I think that will be announced next Tuesday. On Wednesdays we have our gravity coordination calls where we are talking a lot about a lot of things. Of our coordination, of our roadmap, and the delegation of the work that we have. So if you want to contribute, please join on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, today we have a mental health event right after this call, so you can stay in this server, and we will have a mental health event where it's a safe space to talk about that. And next week, we will also have a talk about burnout in the Aragon Discord server, because we've been providing some services to Aragon as a client, the first client of Gravity outside of the TEC. And on Fridays, we have tomorrow something that is called an campfire in the Aragon server, where we will discuss too about conflict management skills and tools. Also, we have a proposal drafting because we are designing the second proposal that we will submit to the TEC at 5 p.m. CET in this Discord server in the TEC. And we also have a website design call at 8 p.m. CET. And one of the latest announcements that I want to make is that right now we also have a project on Giveth. And it means that we can receive donations through Giveth. And that's really cool. It's in the white letter, the link. And yeah, before we only had a Gitcoin grant, but now we are on Gitcoin and on Giveth, and that way we are diversifying our funding streams and incentivizing everyone who wants to donate to what we're doing and to Gravity. In the next slide is the not so updated list of Gravitons. We are still we have to still include the new Gravitons coming from this cohort. So I hope that next community call I will be able to present the list of people who can call themselves a Graviton after taking the course that just ended. So yeah, thanks, and I'll pass it to Sofka.
Thanks, Wonka. Yeah, SovGov meets every Wednesday at 7 p.m. CET. And this week we just had a round of reflection on how was the last 2 weeks that a lot of us were in conferences, and how was for the people that was in the ground, and reflecting on the changes we've been having. And I think inevitably that falls a little bit into compensation and into value streams. So maybe I'll share my screen quickly. yeah, there was a lot of sharings on just how people have been feeling, and some of them were that it got quieter and slower with less calls happening, but then it feels like a lot of the work that needed to happen was more focused, a lot of activity happening on Sampo, and trying to understand how SoftGov can support Sampo now. And I think just a big feedback I heard in this conference weeks was like, how can we support work happening in DAOs to not feel like it's being extractivist in any way, and that people are feeling well supported and compensated for the contributions they've been having. And I think this brings to a point where, well, if we're not financially abundant, what are other ways that we are abundant, and how can we map these multiple value streams? And the SWOT analysis has been interesting for that, just mapping like strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Bear and Kojak have been leading this effort, and Kojak actually presented an interesting. We couldn't understand deeply because he was having technical difficulties, but we'll get more into that. But he was proposing some type of token design model based on this analysis, and I think it goes along with what we've been chatting for a long time of like this different value flows and how we can compensate people in different ways. So yeah, with that is not so concrete for now, but we'll have more updates next week. With that, I'll pass to Edu with Communitas.
Thank you, Libby. And that's a really nice background, the one that you have there. Hello, everyone. So in the Communitas working group, we have made some changes. The first one is that at least for the summer, we will have bi-weekly calls. So starting this week, then we won't have a meeting next Monday, nor orientation call next Thursday, but the one afterwards. So we'll start having bi-weekly syncs for the working group and for the orientation call. And the next slide, I want to share the first thing that came to my mind when I was in TEC last week, which is that I spot a TEC t-shirt in the wild. That was really nice to see, like in the middle of the conference, someone wearing our TEC t-shirt. So kudos to that person. And then the second thing that is important for today is that we are back on people on the orientation call. It's so nice to have people again joining the orientation calls and engaging and being curious, especially this week. Kudos to Juanca, because two of the folks who joined the orientation call came from the Gravity DAO. So the work that you have been doing there has had impact, and people has reached our community because of your work. So praise for that. Besides that, LBS finished their proposal for an update for the template on SendHub on our coordination layer. So we'll probably have new templates coming soon. Besides that, the article, let's talk about membership. It's almost finished. Just wait for some feedback before going to the forum. And basically, this document just provides an overview about how we can, from the token engineering perspective, reshape the concept of membership in a community. So it's a proposal that came from a little bit of research and a little bit of talk, and many Fridays with Gideon spent on trying to dive in how membership should be something more holistic and correspondent to the spirit of our community. So this is a little bit of what came about from that. Besides that, we are also doing, as Nate mentioned, a transition into me taking less hours, probably doing less social calls in the TEC, and transitioning to mentoring someone who will probably be taking that role maybe for September. So that's pretty much all on the Communitas working group. If you have any question, any curiosity, or any feedback for the Communitas working group, the orientation calls, or anything regarding the community, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or to any of the guides. So back to you, Gideon.
Thanks, Edu. So Sampo is the working group that develops the economic layer of the token engineering commons. And we are changing our meeting day and time. The previous one was just proving a little bit too difficult for people in Europe. So now we've moved to Thursdays, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and in Europe it's 7 p.m. Okay, so that's on Thursday. So starting next week. Okay, a lot is going on in Sampo. I feel like actually a lot of the momentum that's been building over the last month is starting to have its first fruits over this next 2 weeks. So the first is we are going to be rolling out a token holder channel on Discord that will be token gated. This is a test that we're running through the end of the year just to see what it's like running a token gate on the TEC Discord. NT did a lot of good research and ended up choosing Guild XYZ as the tool for that. And then we are pulling together, Richa is pulling together a plan for content that will show up in that channel. And so most of that content, if you think about just simply like what would a token holder need to know, right? What are the kinds of things around governance, around the finances, how we're spending things? That's that's just the primary focus initially as we're doing this experiment. Second thing that's going on is Nate has been doing a ton of work on pulling together a policy and then some recommendations for the TEC's treasury. This is a super complex, risky thing, right? It's like we're messing with our money here. So we have to be super careful about how we do this. He's been very thoughtful. The first step is going to be a policy. He's kind of breaking it up into a couple different steps. But the first thing is going to be a policy. And I think we're hoping to have that up next week, up on the TEC forum for feedback. And it may not be, hopefully it's next week. But this is pretty complicated. And just a shout out to Nate on that work. It's really good work. The token engineering request board. So this is basically helping people who need token engineering services to find consultants who can provide those services. Over time, this will expand to include making connections with graduates of the Token Engineering Academy. So all that stuff is further out, of course, but we are looking to align this with the Academy, and so that there can be some good synergy there. Basically, somebody needs token engineering expertise, they can either hire it with a consultant or be able to recruit somebody who's come out of the courses from the Academy. So that's really exciting. That's looking like that's going to be the following week. We may be lucky and actually do it next week, but it's going to be very simple to start. Just a form that people will come to the TC Discord and our forum and be able to fill out, and then we'll post these requests on a special category within the TC Discourse forum. So it's just starting very simply, and the idea is to get this up and running as quickly as possible so we can start getting some feedback and learn what's really of most valuable to the people who need these services, and then also the providing them. Finally, we're starting to do some explorations of an interesting tool that would allow the community to come together and curate content, like share it on Discord, and then be able to curate it through interactions with those posts. So that's still in the early stages right now, but could be very exciting. I will pass it to Shabnam. Are you here?
Yes, thank
Yes.
you, Gideon. So, Working Group Omega, we meet every Wednesday at 8 p.m. CET. And if you can just go to the next slide, please, then I can quickly go over what we had the past actual 2 weeks because of all the events. We also had a light working schedule. 26, 2 days ago, we had the first focus group conducted by Felix and Lydia on a token engineering commons value system. This is in a series of 3 focus groups to get a better idea of how we're serving and token engineering and token engineers or this field, and also how token engineering commons is faring. So the next focus group is private profit versus common benefit, and these focus groups are conducted at participatory action research for TE ethics, so anyone can participate. And the next one is scheduled, I think. I don't know. Edu might be the one who knows better. August 18, I think. But Felix and Lydia are going to announce it in time. And the third one will be on token engineering ethics sometime in September. It was quite interesting. I think it helps to be in these groups, also then conducted by social scientists. Is very different than when we do, retrospectives or do, thinking on work, about work. It was quite different. The second initiative that we have is Token Engineering Conscience Library, as many of you know now. And yesterday we had our first closer design spec session, first with Magic Part, Max, and Ravi, basically where they got the fire hose of creative flow. But both of them are also able to handle it. So we will continue to distill what we have created in this first prototype with our Omega collective curation of resources, covering basically some of the petals of this cryptoeconomics flower, which are in Omega mostly, philosophy, law, ethics, maybe decision science, and so those will be, and the interactions we had whilst curating will be distilled into user stories from those sessions, and then we'll go into this prototype plus the proposal for an actual MVP implementation of it. With a very special navigation that helps self-discovery, both for curators as well as visitors or learners of this Consilience library. The next working group call next Wednesday will be rather about token engineering ethics and this World of World use game that we have. We'd like to do a play testing. If you're still around and not already in your summer vacation, you're most welcome to join. Thank you, and with that, I'll pass it on to comms working group, and Chui is not here. No.
Yeah, I'll take it. Thank you. Okay, so in comms working group, we met every Mondays and Tuesdays. In Mondays, we have all the teams, Twitter, TE Academy team, Mark translations team, and and Tuesday, marketing and the regular comms call. So the updates of this week is that in TE Academy team, we still have the new proposal up in Gardens if you want to support it. Also, they celebrate their birthday this yesterday. Yeah, they had a really good party. They had events and games and all the day. All the recap is on their Twitter. They're going to be posted in the rest of the week. In the animation and video production team, we have the final animatic dog for starring doing the final animation of the reward system video, and we made a new production Google sheet so we can check what we have and what is left to do in the team. In the marketing team, the newsletter number 5 is now in your emails, so you can check it out. If you're not subscribed to our newsletter, you can sync up in our website. And also, in some days, it's going to be a new podcast from Spacio Crypto, one of the most famous podcasts here in Mexico, with the participation of Maumanu, talking about TEC and how to mint TEC and all that stuff. in translations, NT is doing a really great work leading this team. In the work, we have a new organization, NT organiza the D-work in languages, so it will help to have a better organization there. Interior planning, the tech stars are back. This week was Angela from TEC Academy, so go to Twitter and make some retweet and likes. And also, don't forget to activate your SourceGrid account. There is a link that with the steps. Also, have the steps in the Discord channel. But if you want to follow the Twitter one, it is okay. But don't forget to activate your SourceGrid account. And that's it. And I'll pass it to transparency. Thank you.
Thank you, Acid Laser. Yeah, on transparency, we meet every other Monday at 5 p.m. CT. Actually, like we were a bit messed up, like with the team. So some part of the team was joining 1 week, one the other. Okay, now let's fix it. It's next week. Next week we'll have a transparency call, and then I'll probably share my screen. Screen 2. So yeah, basically we were working on making those designs for Aragon. Basically, like Aragon is trying. Oh, is it sharing good? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and basically Aragon is planning to move almost $200 million from a multisig to a DAO, and yeah, we are helping them to become a DAO, and all this work is being done by General Magic and the TEC, which will lead, like, we will have like free publicity in a pretty huge thing happening in the crypto thing market. Like, it's moving a lot of money, and our name will be there, and also we will be making some money out of it, which is great. So it's win-win for us. Then, okay, advanced page. It's like the proposal passed last week. Mateo and Nagen are like pretty busy with the rewards and stuff on Giveth, but they will start, like, the signs are done. Like, the only thing missing is the development, and it will start now in August. So it's probably going to get done during the summer. And then the last thing we were working on was the master sheet. Huge praise to Rex. Like, he pulled all the data from the Dune analytic and then put all this into like, to get it accountable. So all this data is accurate according to the Dune. And basically in this dashboard, you can see like almost everything happening in the DAO. Like, you can see, as we agreed, like, we can see like how everyone's making. Where is it? Wait. Here. So monthly, and then the top of the ladder, and yeah, and then you can see also, like, okay, like, let's say, Septi is on the top of the ladder. Why is Septi on the top of the ladder? So you can just go here and then see why Septi is getting paid, and then yeah, there are all the transactions, and then there are here some charts. This is to represent the English igualdad. Basically, it's like to see how fair we are with our payments. One thing it's worth mentioning, it's like the rewards are not posted as per person. We had a problem with the data that's in the forum. Like, it's like, for example, like when someone gets like 0.3 tokens, then in the forum said it's 2, so the data was pretty messy, and we had to, since we wanted to get it delivered sooner than later, for this iteration, we have the reward system is like all the data of the rewards is here, but it's not per people. It's like just all the data from the reward board. Basically, like, jumping into the document, like, we really wanted to promote mutual monitoring. It's not like the transparency working group will say, oh, look, this how bad this thing is going, or how well this one is other. Like, it's a community job to judge the data. And with that, I'll pass it to Mitch for the rewards. Thank you.
Thanks, Septi. So yeah, rewards working group, we meet every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central European. And we can go to the next slide. Yeah. So rewards for the second part of May are incoming. You can check out the forum post and also the link to the RAD analysis. Source cred rewards are coming very, very soon. And just a small little note there, for data scientists or Python wizards, we'll be doing some big changes soon to the quant review calls, so keep your eyes out for that. It should be pretty interesting if you're in any of those domains. Features in development for Praise. Exporting Praise data to distributed storage systems. Basic analytics and distribution baked into the Praise dashboard. And so those Christopher and co are working on right now, and those should be some upcoming features that you can expect sometime in the future. Also, we have the funding proposal for continuing rewards. This is up from Nuggin. This has been up for a while. Basically, we're asking for 20K in XDAI to convert into TEC to continue distributing rewards through the reward system. And so if you have some feedback on that, go ahead and check it out. Otherwise, that's going to be hitting the garden very, very soon. And the radical overcall, a new modular future for rewards, analytics, and distribution. We're adding some scope to the RAD dashboard that's going to be super, super interesting, making it more plug and play for external builders to come in and build their own analytics modules and distribution methods. PSAs /activate to get your Praise account activated to get rewards. And as Acid Laser mentioned, activating your source cred. Please, please, please do it. There is a deadline on August 1st. If you do not activate your source cred by then, it is very unlikely you will get any rewards for the work that you have done in the past on GitHub or the forum. So do that. There it is. I've said it. Deadline August 1st. Activate source cred. Okay. And there's more info in the general channel, which I've tagged everybody in several times. Great. I'll pass it back to Nate. No, you can forget that slide. That's old news.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm not sure if Angie showed up or not, but if she did not, I told her I would take over for this. So Token Engineering Academy. We have yesterday, we celebrated the TE Academy's birthday, where we had the launch countdown for TE Fundamentals. And just had a full day of token engineering magic. We got to meet the creators behind the curriculum. We got to meet a bunch of big-time token engineers, had drinks, had a party. It was a really wonderful event. If you missed it, no worries. There are some upcoming events at the TE Academy. We have our TE 360 Eleanor Ostrom this Monday, the Introduction to Token Engineering on August 12th, and our CAD study group on August 9th. TE Fundamentals update. So the TE Fundamentals date was released. Early access will be open on September 12th. This is going to be a completely online course. If you haven't signed up for the TE Fundamentals, this is a good place. You have to sign up here with this form. But that'll give you access to enrollment. And you can learn more at the TE Academy Discord. If you have any questions, there's a lot of people who are really curious about what's going on, what are the prerequisites, things of that nature. Those questions can be answered by the members of the TE Academy. So this is early access via study groups. TE Fundamental Study Group is another big important one that you can go join. I think it's really important for success because this course is going to be very, very difficult for a lot of people. And so going over the first course modules and checking out the exams, learn about the NFT that you'll get after successful completion of the course. And then the last thing is the TE 360 around the globe. So this is a global initiative where we have a bunch of different TE 360 study groups all around the world with your native languages. So these are the current ones right here and the individuals that are hosting them. If you're interested in joining, please visit this Notion page. We also have a QR code that you can scan to get into the next steps of the study group, or if you would like to start your own study group within your area. If these aren't represented yet, if you're not represented by the current study groups, please feel free to take the initiative and start your own. But there's a lot of things going on at the TE Academy, and so getting you prepared for that is a top priority. So that is it, and I'll pass it over to legal. Do we have anything for legal? I don't think so at the time. Right now, I believe, have open call for legal experts. Our legal working group is going through a transition right now, so I believe that is it. And that is all for this community call. So, yeah, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. And if you have any questions, please send it out. But outside of that, have a great rest of the day.
Praise Nate. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Nate. Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
See you later. Bye.
Thank you.